What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Ziggy Doom, man. One of my moments that more like a rant, I should say, about dating versus parenting. Now, to be fair, as a parent, there's always room for improvement, right? There's no such thing as the perfect parent. There's no such thing as the perfect way to parent. You know, it's just kind of trial and error, tweak and peak. You learn as you go. But before I touch on parenting, I want to talk about dating. Okay, dating is, it's natural, right? We all date, you know. You can't find your forever unless you date, right? But I think at a certain age, you start to understand dating more and the process of it, and you tend to be better at it. You know, there are steps, just like anything. There are steps to successful dating, you know, and as you get older, you learn those steps. But if you don't take those steps when you're dating, you're gonna end up with mediocre results. And if you continue to date that way, you're gonna continue to get mediocre results. Okay, first of all, as an adult, as a mature adult, if you're dating, you got to have certain prereqs. And I could be wrong. It's always, you know, differences of opinions. Okay. For me, dating, one of the most important things of dating is communication, right? You have to be able to effectively communicate. But also, you have to have certain things to bring to the table when you date. Okay. If you dating somebody, if you want somebody you're forever, somebody you want to spend the rest of your life with, and you have little or nothing to offer, then guess what? That person that you're interested in may not be interested in you as much. For example, a man, you know, we as men, we have certain things we want generally from a woman. We want a woman to take care of us, you know, loyalty, obviously, you know, and, you know, the intimacy that comes with it. But if a woman, all she has to offer a man is intimacy, if that's all she has to offer him, then the relationship can only go so far. If you have no job, if you don't have your own place, you can be the greatest person in the world. You can send them texts, good morning, sunshine, good night. I dream about you every night, blah, 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 all that. And it looks good on paper, but at some point, that relationship is going to falter because you're going to lose the man's interest. You know, I mean, some guys are, you know, willing to date women that have only one thing to offer them, the intimacy, and nothing else. Some guys do. But usually a mature, independent, intelligent man is looking for a woman that can also bring things to the table besides the intimacy part, you know, and it happens all the time. You know, you have women who think that, oh, I'm just so great that all I need to bring to the table is intimacy and I'll keep a good man. And that doesn't usually work out. So they keep going over and over, dating with nothing to offer except intimacy, and then getting dumped, getting their feelings hurt and starting over again. My advice to those women, bring more to the table than just intimacy. If you have nothing else to bring, then why not wait until you have more to bring to the table before you start dating? I have yet to meet a woman who had nothing to bring to the table except the intimacy, and the relationship just lasted forever. Now, I say that to say this. If you are dating and you have children, that right there adds a whole nother dynamic to it. So you dating and you have children, that's fine, you know. But guess what? On top of having nothing to bring to the table except intimacy, you also have children. So now that you bringing a whole nother situation to the table when you dating. Now you want a man to want you, and you have no job, you don't have your own place, and you got kids. The guy doesn't usually keep interest very long in those situations. And like I say, there's always exceptions to the rule, but I'm calling it how I see it. I've been on the earth for a little while, and I know usually a guy meets a woman and intimacy comes along. But women, get intimate with a man and fall in love. And a man gets intimate with a woman and it's like, okay, well, you know. So at some point, you gotta bring more to the table. And if you dating and you don't have a job in your own place, don't put the man before your kids. Don't put the dating before your children. Okay, make sure your children are taken care of before you date. That baffles me as an adult, male or female. You put your mate before your children. That's not how it goes when you're dating. Your children should come first. You know, that should be your primary focus. If you can't provide adequately for your children, how can you provide adequately for a man or a woman? If you're dating a woman or whatever, how? You can't. You know, I just see it so much, man. You know, women have nothing to offer. They meet a guy, the guy sells them a dream. They get intimate, the woman falls in love. She texts the guy, I love you, you the best thing since sliced bread, yada, yada. And not only does she forget how to be a parent apparently, because, you know, the kids get put on the back burner, but the relationship doesn't last very long. Like priorities. I don't know, maybe I'm a little bit different, but I firmly believe before you date, before you party, before you hang out, you should have a job at a minimum and be taking care of yourself. Then date, then be happy or whatever else. But I don't know, you know. And if I'm wrong, because I'm not always right, that's fine. But to me, those things are important before dating, you know. I'm not going to look to date if I don't have a job and I don't have my own things and all I can offer is intimacy. That's just me, you know. And to each their own, you know, we all have to find our happiness. That's great. But even with finding your happiness, there can be some delusion to it. Delusion of people thinking that they are worth more than they really are. And it doesn't help when those people are surrounded by enablers. Everybody around them is telling them, oh, you're perfectly fine. Nothing is wrong with what you're doing. We're going to support everything about you. If you're surrounded by those kind of people, you will never get it. You will never understand that maybe you doing things wrong and you need to switch it up. And on the flip side, you know, back to the parenting thing. Parenting isn't an option. It shouldn't be an option. You know, as you get older, you should get better at it, not worse. You shouldn't regress as you get older. You should get better. And I'm not a perfect parent. I got my flaws. I had to learn to get better over time. But I learned, you know, I learned to get better. Then I understood the importance of being in my children's lives and putting them first. Before dating, before buying myself anything, before hanging out and partying, which I don't do anyway, you know, I learned that. So now I know how to nurture my kids effectively. And I'm still growing. I'm still a work in progress. You know, my last video, I had the guy that was emailing me saying I'm a deadbeat and I, you know, abuse my kids and women and everything. And I addressed that. But this one is about the dating and the parenting. And you can't date and parent, but you can't forget to be a parent to date. At some point, you have got to wake up and say, you know what? I probably need to tighten up in certain areas, you know, and you shouldn't have to force somebody to be a parent. But I mean, sometimes things happen, right? People get bitter and they feel they want to do certain things for whatever reasons. I mean, that's fine. I just want everybody to be happy, but we can all do better. Okay. How many times have you guys seen it? Male and female, the father meets a woman and he forgets about his kids, or the mother meets a man and she spends money on the man and loves the man's kids and nothing else matters. There's something wrong with that. It has to be. Your priority should be your kids. And if a man wants you, then he'll show you. But if you don't give a man nothing to want except what's in between your legs, it's only going to last so long. I didn't make these rules up. I'm just saying it's going to be a fairy tale until the man gets tired or bored and moves on. And then guess what? Now you got another notch on your belt and you got to look for your next forever or whatever. You can't say you want a husband or a forever, but you only bring one thing to the table. You can't do that. But no one listens to me anyway, except some of my YouTube subscribers. Shout out to y'all. But I just think that makes sense, right? As an adult, you want to work. You want to get your independence. You know, you want to make sure your kids are taken care of. Then you get on the dating scene. You don't just skip all that and, oh, let me date. A guy's interested in me. He says I'm the flower in his eye. Let me hook up with him. Because what's going to happen is, yeah, he'll get between your legs because that's what us guys do. But then after that, it's like, well. But you can't take back what you done with that guy. And it's unfortunate, man. I mean, I have no idea why people do that. Males and females. You got the father, you know, you got the father who has kids with whoever, and because that father feels a certain way about that child's other half, they meet a woman and just forget about the child. So now they got this woman who they're parading around on social media or whatever, and even parading her kids around, but they forget about their own kids. And to that woman that's with that guy that forgets about his kids, I'm going to tell you this. If he is disregarding his kids for you, putting you on a pedestal, and your kids, if you have some with him, what does that really tell you about that man? If he doesn't involve his former kids, you know, that should tell you something right there. There's red flags. You know, why are you going to date a person who has no job, no crib, kids, and they just, I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. But I think people overvalue themselves. People say, they look in the mirror and say, I am awesome enough to get somebody, and all I have to offer them is my love, loyalty, and intimacy, and they'll take care of the rest. Okay, well, I hope that works out for those people. But in the real world, men don't wake up in the morning and say, I want to be with a woman who has no job, no crib, kids, and only thing she can offer me is intimacy. Guys don't generally wake up in the morning and say that, so they want to spend the rest of their life with. And once again, to go back to the parenting thing, at some point, your children, male and female, mothers and fathers, they are going to grow up and they are going to see how you treat them versus how you treat your lover or baby or whoever. And they're going to form their opinion of you. They're going to say, well, when I'm with mommy, this, and this happens. But when I'm with daddy, this, and this happens. So the kids form their own opinions. And then they'll know when you can put a man in front of them. When you got to sneak out of the house while they sleep to go hook up with that guy, or they wake up in the middle of the night and they see some random guy sneaking out the house. Yeah. But when they need their homework and stuff done, you tell them, we'll do it later. Or I'll ask your other half, or I'll Google it. You know, they see that. The writing's on the wall, you know, and it is what it is, man. But parenting and dating, there's a way to do it. You know, like I said, man, I got my flaws. You know, I definitely wasn't always, I never consider myself the greatest father or parent, you know, but I did learn how to buckle down and become and focus on what's important, you know, and what's important is my children, you know, securing a future for them and going from there. You know, it's a process. You want to be happy. You want to be happy with someone. Fine. But there are steps to do it. And if you rush, then you're going to get mediocre results. And then you're going to be back in your pillow crying, and you're going to have your friends saying, it's okay, he wasn't good enough for you anyway, blah, blah, blah. Back on the social media with the dumb quotes and memes. That's the cycle, you know. And strangely enough, I'm considered excuse my French, I'm considered an asshole for saying these things. But which is worse, me saying them or people that actually do them? Because trust me, there's people that actually do these. I don't just make this stuff up in my head. It's people that actually do this stuff, okay? It is. Guys will always, 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 always sleep with you. Always. But then what? Then when they wake up and realize, well, dang, we sleep together. That was pretty easy. I got her to sleep with me. Okay, but now what does she have to offer? Then they lose interest. Then they send you them texts like, I'm moving on. Stop texting me. And you sitting with somebody else in public and your feelings hurt. Hey, you can't blame no one but yourself. Okay? You have to look in the mirror and say, I got to better myself before I can even attempt to be with someone else to help better them. But adults are going to do what they're going to do. They're going to say what they're going to say. So all this is my take on it. You know, it's not, this is general. Okay. This is not directed at anyone. You know, this is what I've seen throughout my existence from my friends that I've talked to, you know, and family also. You know, people, we all can do better. I'm still trying to do better. With all my children, I'm still trying to do better. You know, I put them first. I sacrifice my life and my happiness for them because that's what it's about. I'll get there. I'll get my happiness, everything later, but I have to make sure my children are taken care of and they don't have to worry about, well, if I ask daddy this, he might ignore me or he might tell me to Google it or he might, you know, and they don't have to wake up in the middle of the night. Oh, where's daddy? I wonder if daddy's out with somebody. It's not about that, man. When you do that stuff, when you sneaking behind your kids, you might be putting that person in front of them. I don't know. It's a gray area between that. You know, sometimes as adults, we have to, you know, we can't let our kids see everything, but sometimes we are putting these people before our children. You got to ask yourself, if you have money and time to spend on a man because you think he's your forever, you should have that money and time to spend on your kids, right? I mean, giving a man money to help him with something versus doing your homework with your children. I don't know, man. And I'm not bitter, you know. I'm not angry at anybody. I'm just frustrated because it should not be this way, man. It shouldn't. It should not be that way. Children should come first. Parenting, it shouldn't be an option. And dating has a process. It has a process. But hey, man, we all adults. And at the end of the day, people are going to do what makes them happy. And you want everybody to be happy, right? Everybody deserves to be happy. But it's still a process, man. Okay, enough about that. I got to get to the gym, man. If y'all like this video, you know, feel free to like it, share it, subscribe, you know, to all the non-subscribers. And to all my subscribers, as always, I thank y'all, you know, for supporting me through the years and watching my videos, as boring as they may be. You know, I still got stuff coming down the pipe, but I just wanted to get that off my chest, man, because it's just frustrating to see these things happening and people get the same results and they, you know, complain. And it's like, if you keep doing the same thing, you're going to get the same results. Why complain? And never, ever, ever do any of that stuff if it compromises your kids, man. Parenting should come first. That's it for this video, y'all. Thanks for watching.